Hey lore friends, as I'm sure you know, Valorant dropped the warm-up cinematic this morning, and it is incredible. Last night, they released a poster for the cinematic, and I predicted the plot to a T. You should really follow me on Twitter, that's where news gets posted first. Earlier today, live on Twitch, I did a full breakdown frame by frame. I'm here now to provide the same thing for my YouTube audience, so grab a snack and some water, and let's dig in. We start off with a subtle nod to the range. If you spent time there, you've probably tried out the speed-based bot module. Not soon after, we get our first shot of a map in the distance on a display. This is actually a map of Lisbon, Portugal. To those unfamiliar, we've been speculating and have a lot of evidence towards Lisbon, Portugal on Earth 2 being our next map. So this map being here further solidifies a lot of those theories. It really seems like we're going to be seeing a map in Lisbon next act. In this next scene, we can see a series of spikes on the wall, as well as some of the target drones we see on the range. I've seen some people speculate that because of the abundance of spikes here, that this might be the Valorant protocol on Earth 2. But it's important to remember that upon defusing the spikes, the team is likely taking them back to research them further. Just a couple frames later, we can see some stickers. One, the yoke, being a reference to a spray from a battle pass, and the smaller one being Killjoy's signature sticker. On the monitor, we can see a store page open for a Squish Squish keychain, in reference to Neon's little octopus plushie. And just a couple shots after that, we get a shot of Yoru's motorcycle. The design looks heavily influenced not only by his outfit, but also by Akira's motorcycle design, specifically Kaneda's. On the wall behind it, we can see some art Raze has done. We also get a first glimpse at her goofy grenade slippers. Throughout the cinematic, you'll also notice that some of the agents are wearing alternate outfits. For instance, Phoenix is wearing a different t-shirt, Killjoy is wearing an entirely different beanie and a hoodie instead of her jacket, and Raze doesn't have her body armor on, and of course, those slippers. I made a huge effort to try and find any Tacta friends in this cinematic, and from what I can tell, the only one is right here, right next to Yoru. It's actually the piece of cake spray, so not an actual Tacta friend plushie. I'll take it though. Our first major piece of lore is actually right here as Phoenix approaches the lockers. We see lockers 7 through 11 with 8 scratched out. For those of you unaware, Agent 8 is a bit of a mystery within Valorant. We first became aware of Agent 8 during the beta, when we compiled a list of the agents based off of their Valorant protocol ID numbers. Their ID numbers correspond to the order in which they joined. Upon completing the list with the agents that we had, we realized that 8 had been skipped. It's become a bit of a tradition to try and pry information about Agent 8 out of the devs, but they keep it pretty tight-lipped. We know 2 facts about Agent 8. 1, that they are not dead, and 2, that they are simply away somewhere, and we're waiting on them to come back. Anticipating discussion around Agent 8's locker, I don't think there's enough to draw any conclusions as to what happened to them, why they left, and where they are. At most, we understand that they have been away for some time. In this shot, we can see the inside of Phoenix's locker. He grabs a Spike Rush energy drink out of the top, and we can see his signature frenzy, his ID card, as well as a couple backups of his iconic jacket. This isn't really part of the deep analysis, but I absolutely love how Cypher is playing chess with himself the entire time. It goes a long way in defining his character. In this shot, we get to see a bit more of Killjoy's monitor, as well as the Heimerdinger sticker underneath her monitor. I have a really kind of a silly theory regarding this webpage for the Sad Squid keychain. Maybe Killjoy bought the keychain that Neon wears on her side after seeing her plushie. Just a thought. Not a whole lot of evidence going behind that theory, but it's kind of sweet to think about. Here we get a better look at Killjoy's alternate outfit. Some people might be looking at this and thinking, oh, this confirms agent skins. And that might be a bit of a reach. Are agent skins something that Riot is considering? Absolutely, they've spoken on it before. But maybe they just wanted to show us the agents in different outfits. This cinematic does aim to show us them hanging out outside of missions, so it makes sense. It's just not enough to confirm or deny anything. To those unfamiliar, this frog on Killjoy's hoodie can actually be seen in her concept art. You can also find the frog in other promotional art, such as the main menu in episode 4, where you can see it projected out of her bracer. I absolutely love how KO's facial expressions change. For instance here, upon being woken up after being hit with his own EMP knife, he has this shocked expression. Later on, we'll even see his face display GG. Here we get a better look at the credits Yoru and Jet are using to gamble. Unsurprisingly, they have a Kingdom logo on them. I've seen some discussion that this might mean that Kingdom has its own currency. I think that might not be the case here. It's possible that they just use this currency locally to provide themselves with weaponry and other Kingdom products. And here's what is possibly the most well-hidden lore-relevant detail. Memento Mori is written above the training room door. Despite how often we see the door, the text is obstructed in all shots except this one. To those unfamiliar, Memento Mori is a Latin phrase meaning, remember, you must die. It is typically symbolic, but here it is spelled out plain as day. We also saw this text in the Episode 1 Act 3 Battle Pass, and a player card of the same name. Lots of speculation surrounds this card, with the most popular theories placing it as a possession of Brimstone's. Those same theories suggest that the dog tag and hourglass remind Brimstone of his inevitable fate, but also of his lost friend. Indeed, this is the friend speculated to in some capacity be involved in KO's design and base memories. Here, the phrase acts as a reminder to those entering the training room that their death is inevitable. Superficially, it seems like a terrible thing to hang over the heads of those fighting to save the Earth, but in the right context, it is meant to humble. Despite their abilities and the securities their situation grants them, these agents are not invincible, and they have to remember that. Here we get another look at the map of Lisbon, as well as another look at the monitor, where we can see the Mementos player card on the right side. Above KO and Killjoy, we can also see the iconic knife face. This training room is labeled as number 3, so we have to assume that there are a number of other training rooms, at least 2 others. It would seem that the Valorant headquarters is quite sizable. If you watch my Neon lore video, you'll also recognize some of these scenes as being a part of the clips that Neon sees displayed in her room. Here, as Brimstone and Sage arrive, we get a glimpse of Brimstone's tattoo on his upper arm, resembling that of his Peacekeeper Sheriff. Fun fact, this is the same VTOL we saw at the end of Duality, marked VO3. Near the end here, we get a good look at the Valorant Protocol headquarters, situated on a remote volcanic island. During my live analysis, Chat and I did our best to try and find out where this island might be, and the closest we could find is White Island in New Zealand. Not a perfect match, but it's pretty close. And to all the Cypher fans who thought he might get through this cinematic unscathed, here at the end he's shot by the blue-screened MaxBot, continuing the tradition of Cypher dying in every trailer. And that's it. There's a serious abundance of minor details in this cinematic, so I focused on the details that I felt were reference-heavy or important to the lore. Overall, the cinematic was not as lore-heavy as Duelist and Duality, but it did deliver something the community has been asking for: the agents hanging out outside of their missions. A massive thanks to the narrative team, Joe, Ryan, David. I'm sure you've been anxious to see the community's reaction to Duality's follow-up. And while I can't speak for everyone, know that I'm over the moon about it, and have already watched it at least 30 times. Also, lots of love to the creatives at Blur Studio. The art direction, as always, is flawless. Well done. If you made it this far, let me know what your favorite scene was in the comments down below. As always, many thanks to my patrons and to all of my wonderful subscribers. Until next time, take care, agents.